New card, PogChamp, new card, PogChamp. There's one new card. We can't fill 8 minutes with this, but I'm going to do my best. First up, Cervix Dragon. I sure hope it does. Okay. The next Psycho Jump promo is the Rush dual print of Botanical Lion. I like the secret on the effect text, like this isn't a card that we've had for a decade. The thing that's fucking me up is why would it be a legend? This is like a nothing card. Maybe they did give it like a really cool, interesting, different effect. It's just now a legend. Also, is it a legend? Yeah, it is. No, yeah. 2 decades, right? All right. Let's talk about the one card. Illusion Gate. So this is a card from the problematic Chinese character in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I know what you're thinking. No. It's the other one. This card does 2 things, and they're both really interesting. Illusion Gate. You can only apply the effect of this card's name once per duel. 1. Pay half your life points. Destroy as many monsters your opponent controls as possible. Then you can special summon one monster from their graveyard to your field, ignoring its summoning conditions. This card's awesome. I'm sorry that everyone seems to think this card is just more pack filler. They might be right, but it doesn't change the fact that it's epic. So, on first read, this is pretty much obviously just Raigeki plus Monster Reborn. Like, it wipes the board. Then you reborn a monster from the graveyard. That's great, right? However, I think that calling it Raigeki plus Monster Reborn is kind of a misnomer. As I explained in this tweet, its use case is actually Raigeki plus Called By. Now, what do I mean when I say this? Well, if you have a functioning brain, you are probably already figured it out. But the short of it is, because it reborns a monster as part of the resolution of this card, that monster will not be in the graveyard at the card's resolution, and if it has a graveyard effect, it won't trigger. You'll have it. So, what's going to happen is, like, let me just paint you a picture of when you might actually activate this card. Let's say you're playing Master Duel, and your opponent has ended on Appaloosa plus Flamberge plus Masquerena in the back row, right? And you go Illusion Gate. So Raigeki in this position would suck shit, because even if your opponent loses their entire board, the Flamberge is going to trigger. They're going to have material. Then when you summon, they can summon the Masquerena from the back row with the field spell and then make SP. And you are going to have to deal with whatever the Poplar gets and whatever the Ash gets. And it's rough. But if you activate Illusion Gate, you pop the field, then you select the Flamberge, then you have the Flamberge. It's on your side of the field. It doesn't trigger, and you win the game. The Masquerena comes out. There's nothing with which to perform a Link summon. Bada bing. I think this rocks. Unfortunately, very few people in the community think at all, because I was so thoroughly railed in the comments section of this tweet, for which I think what I'm describing is pretty obvious. Almost everyone is doing one of 3 things. They are either doing a Called By has a different effect than the text on this card. Actually, Called By is a slightly different card than the one you're describing. Okay, they're doing that. Or they're completely misunderstanding what I'm saying. Or they just aren't reading the card. It's so strange. Let me just run through the responses here. Actually, it's a Ghost Bellable Raigeki. Okay, Foxy, always great to riff with. I'll riff with Foxy any day. I say I'll be in the cold before I sleeve up a Ghost Bell, and she goes, what about the purple card? So this is actually like the reason this card probably will not see play. It's a Raigeki that you can fucking impulse. But let's see. Danny goes, ooh, nice detonator under Eclipse Twins. I think I will take it. So this one's hard because there's no situation in which that's actually going to work. I think he means an Eclipse Twins made with half of a detonator, but why would you ever end on that? He wanted to use the meme, and he doesn't have a great understanding of what the Ryziel end board. It's okay. It's fine. We'll take it. Could you elaborate, says Sarah? This is a sentiment, by the way. This is a sentiment you never see online. That's why I appreciate Sarah, because she said, you know what? I don't understand what you mean by that. Would you mind explaining? All right? And people tell, if a monster had an effect from being destroyed or sent to the graveyard, it won't trigger since you removed it from the graveyard before it could start in a new chain. Right? No one's willing to do that. Instead, what we get is this. Oh, really? Didn't know Called by the Grave special summons a monster from the graveyard? I get the joke, but Called by affects monsters discarded from the hand, doesn't summon, and is a quick play. It's significantly closer to Monster Reborn than Called by. Yeah, for sure. Wow, I love it when I call by a monster from my opponent's graveyard and I summon it in defense. Yes, I understand it's a different card. It's performing the important function of Called by, which is a negation. Imagine someone using this to steal Promethean Princess thinking they're slick only to realize they aren't playing a fire deck. That happens all the time. Shouts out to Mulcharmy Charm, Mimighoul Charm, still fire locking you. That's also not what this is. I hate how this is accurate. Thank you, Nulled and Void. Autonomous Action Unit Erasure. Question. It's actually Raigeki plus the Deep Grave. Not quite. It's not a quick play, so it lacks the versatility of Called by to remove things such as fusion materials or cards targeted for special summon through other effects. This one's weird because, like, what do you mean to remove things such as fusion materials? What are you talking about? I guess, like, a fusion that can use cards of the graveyard? I don't. Bros played against Hero. It beats the fuck out of Miracle Fusion. Actually, no. Called by is a quick play spell, so it can't be on the opponent's turn. It's actually how people described it. However, if it was a quick play, then I would agree. True. It's Raigeki plus DD Crow, actually. No, it's not. The reason I'm saying it's Called by is because DD Crow won't negate in that situation. If it were quick play, yes. But since it's not, no. Actually, it's all three. There we go. That's a good one. Actually, it's Raigeki plus Autonomous Action Device. It's actually Raigeki plus Non-Targeting Autonomous Action Unit. Didn't know Called by is a normal spell. Everyone in the comments is so excited to let me know it's not a quick play. Not a quick play. It's bad Raigeki tied to bad Widow Anchor that costs half your life points. Like, no, it's better than both those cards. Well, maybe not better than Raigeki, which we'll get to in a second. It's Raigeki plus losing in time because my opponent is thinking for 45 seconds during end of main. Okay, that one's funny. Thank you. Stupid. Called by is a quick effect. Called only summons from your graveyard. I think this person thinks I'm talking about Call of the Haunted. I'm pretty sure that's what that one is. Actually, do floaters trigger off this? Of course, fucking Twitter hides the one person who is using their higher order brain functions. I was like, wait a minute. It's actually half Lightning Storm, half Spell Card Monster Reborn. That's true. That's actually true. Oh my god. Okay. How do I actually feel about the playability of this card, if it's a quick play aside? I think it's really good. Like, a bunch of people were writing this off because they were like, we already have Raigeki and nobody plays Raigeki. But the truth of the matter is that people do play Raigeki. Like, you may not notice if you're not paying attention. But I would say pretty frequently, I will see a person who has a side deck that has 3 Raigeki. I'm not saying everybody does it. It's once in a blue moon type shit, but it is a consideration for people who are playing very specific decks. I think this is, in many ways, better than Raigeki. I mean, I really... think the special summoning effect is incredibly good. The decks that are playing it do not give a fuck about losing half your life points, and I think it's going to be a consideration for specific metagames. Just like kind of Dark Ruler is a consideration a lot of the time, Evenly is a consideration a lot of the time, but they kind of ebb and flow based on what end boards look like. I think there are going to be some end boards in our time that are uniquely weak to this card, and for that reason, it will see play occasionally. Now, the thing that prevents it from being always better than Raigeki is the summoning thing. Wow. It is rough to know that it is going to be outable by Impulse and Bell. So the situation in which this card is going to be good is if there's an end board that's uniquely weak to it and people aren't playing Impulse or Bell. But what's the funniest thing you can summon with it? What is the funniest thing you can summon with this card? I'm trying to think of like the current metagame. I mean, Detonator is funny. White Binder? Oh, White Binder's crazy. Master Chef staple for sure. A trap and effect immune masterpiece. A Fiendsmith? I mean, yeah, like, just think about that. Is like, they have an end board that's like Caesar, and then guys, you activate Illusion Gate, blow up the board, you take a fucking Light Fiend, and then you go Requiem. Like, that's nice. Unfortunately, if they have Caesar on their end board, they will use it to negate this spell. It is so funny being like, yeah, the upside that puts it over Raigeki is a huge downside because now it is vulnerable to like 4 cards printed specifically to beat this type of effect. Discard with Illusion Gate is unbeatable. All right, what do you got for me, Agumon? Oh, dog. Wait, have we updated the combo after all these years? Do you need to perform a destroy to activate the reborn? You do. It's a conditional then. Your opponent controls as possible then. All right, so here's the deal. After doing 1 new card in the previous episode, they released 3 new cards the day after, so we're going to do this. First up, Lord of Searing Flames Uriah from Limited Pack GX1. They've got one with fucked up text. What is this? The divine text? This is nice. I gotta say, this is an alt art that looks good as hell. We like it a lot. Next up, Drawbread. So we saw the Golden Egg Witch in a teaser form about a week ago. They released the text. It is a V-Jump promo, and shockingly, it might actually be all right. So it's Drawbread. If you have a monster in your graveyard, you pay 200 life points, you draw a card and reveal it. Then if it's a monster, you apply this effect based on its attribute. If the attribute is different from the monsters in your graveyard, you can draw a card. And if it's the same as a monster in your graveyard, you can discard a card. So a lot of people are recognizing that if you can consistently draw a monster that is not the same attribute as monsters in your graveyard, it's Pot of Greed. However, I think this card is not very good for 2 reasons. Firstly, if you draw anything that's not a monster, it's kind of like a bad Upstart Goblin. I mean, not bad as Upstart Goblin could be. It'll be played for that reason. But 2, discard a card sucks, right? Then you just go -1 on activating the card. it's a better Dark World dealings for Dark World? I guess so. Like, you're allowed to have better Dark World dealings if you're playing Dark World, I think. Dark World dealings 4 through 6? No, it'll just be Dark World dealings 5. Because they already played Dark Corridor, which is an insane card that is hampered by a hard once per turn. This is going to be a similarly fine card that is hampered by a once per turn. No, you go +0 if you draw a same attribute monster. No? Because this card costs you a card. So you play draw pan, you draw a card, same attribute, you discard a card. I am the foolish one. Exactly, right. I don't know. Maybe. I just think it's kind of unlikely. Next up. All right. Dual Academia selection. Okay, so there's new retrains of a Chaz monster, a Jaded monster, and a Bastion monster. Now, the Jaded monster is a hero, so super excited to talk about this. Elemental hero, Thunder Giant Voltic Thunder. 2 elemental hero monsters with different attributes. Big fucking deal. That puts it in league with the other elemental hero fusions in terms of cards that can cheat it out. Must be fusion summoned. First and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card is special summoned and your opponent controls more monsters or more cards than you, you can destroy all other cards on the field, and you contribute this card fusion summoned using a normal monster as material. Target an elemental hero monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. Why are they doing this to me? I have to imagine that this is a slight against me specifically. They saw that I liked heroes, and they were like, we're never going to print a good hero again. I said this on Blue Sky already. Ab-Zero is almost the age of consent. And they're printing heroes that are like, if you go second, this card can blow up your opponent's field. Yeah, no shit. Welcome to Hero. Anything that breathes can blow up your opponent's field. I don't know, man. I just don't understand. This one's also funny because it doesn't blow up your opponent's field. It needs a condition to be met that your opponent controls more cards than you do in a deck that board builds, and it blows up everything on the field. So your end board better not have a Dark Law on it. It better not have like a Plasma on it. It's just really weird. Why would they even make this? Now, there are some things you can do where you can use it to special out heroes that were sent to the graveyard by like a Vion that get a trigger on special summon. Like you can weave a Search of a Mask change into a combo in a deck that can already do that. You know, I don't know. There are lines that this enables. None of them change the math on if hero is a good deck or not. Just frustrating because there's so many hero cards, it would require so little for this deck to become metagame relevant. Next up. Lightwater Dragon, we'll talk about in a sec. Drill Armed Dragon. You can send this card and one other wind monster from your hand to the graveyard. For the rest of this turn, all wind dragon monsters gain 300 attack. That is the funniest effect I've ever heard. Slow effect, honest, that boosts for 300 by -2ing you. Very funny. Obviously, it doesn't really matter because a significant amount of your cards proc off of being sent for a wind monster's effect, but it'd be like if Teus did nothing. You could banish any number of dragon monsters that are level 7 or higher and or wind from your graveyard. Add a dragon monster from your deck to your hand with a level equal to the number banished. Wow. So it's a hassle to get a 3, but if you want a 7, you might as well just give up. You know who else searches a wind dragon monster if it's banished? Tempest. But it requires you to banish 0. It's crazy, man. The pile-armed dragon stuff really is quite interesting, and it's funny how good pile-armed dragon is specifically. I don't know how they keep beefing the extra monsters surrounding it. Now let's talk about Lightwater Dragon because it's the only interesting thing we're talking about today. This card's name is always treated as Water Dragon. You can only use the effect of this card's name once per turn. You can banish this card you control. Special summon 3 level 5 or lower water or wind dinosaur monsters from your deck and defense. Their effects are negated, and you cannot special summon for the extra deck for the turn except for dinosaurs and sea serpents. So, what the fuck? It's Giga Rescue Rabbit. Now, here's the problem. Let's pull up a list of those monsters. Monster, attribute wind. It's got to be a dinosaur. They said 5 or lower? Okay. So, or hello, dinosaur? There it is. We can get Oxygeddon, which is obviously the target they want you to get. Catioptera, which is fine. It's a great card, but of course its effect is negated. Dino Wrestler Capapatera, TG Booster Raptor. If you go to water, you can search Cabazals, Megalosmasher, Deuterion, Hydrogeddon. So there's 5 targets total for this. Now, the question is, like, is this still good enough? Is 3 material worth doing this? I think right now the answer is no. And it's also weird that they negate their effects because, like, you want to proc the effect of the Deuterion, right? I don't know. I would like this to be good. It's one of those cards you read and you go, oh, this has to be breakable. I think at present it isn't, but it's the one of these 3 that I think has the highest potential to see play in the future. The ED lock is a disaster, yeah, because the good dinosaur Xyz are dragons, thanks to the evil Zors.